Welcome to Tribulation 515 2011. We have officially reached day 424. Today is July 12th, 7/12/2012. It's a Thursday. My computer is wigging out a little bit. But it's a Thursday out here in San Jose, California. It's another glorious day. We're having a little bit of a heat spell here. The weather's gotten up into the upper 80s the last 2 days, so we've joined the rest of the country in the heat wave. Yesterday evening, we had a bunch of seriously apocalyptic, spooky-looking clouds kind of rolling on in. But, when I went out and walked my dogs this morning, the skies were blue and clear. The tribulation that is unfolding in front of us is on all sorts of different levels. And of course, there are those of us out there that have our heads in the sand or are living in some kind of hedged-in bubble existence, a cocoon of happiness. And, God bless y'all, where they refuse to look outside their bubble because if your life is blessed and you have a job and you're paying all your bills and the crazy weather and the increase in gas and food prices doesn't affect you and everything's hunky-dory, then God bless you. But the reality is if you could look outside of your cocoon and bubble at the world as a whole, the big picture, things aren't going so good. The world continues to spiral downwards into chaos. And we got a lot of stuff that's, happening. I'm going to go through a lot of the crazy stuff, but I'll try and end today's video on a slightly upbeat note. Economically, the bubble is popping, the dominoes are falling. The EU is going belly up. Spain is a complete disaster. They're implementing cutbacks in government services and, none of it's going to work. All the refinancing that they keep doing is just, smoke and mirrors. And, you basically got a scenario where you got the euro dollar, which is becoming worthless, and, the United States keeps lending more money or printing more money, and they keep printing more euro dollars, the World Bank, but it all keeps leading to the same direction, which is the money devaluing. And, of course, the ultra-rich, they'll always have so much money that even if they're using it for toilet paper, it's still worth something to them. But to those of us that don't have a whole lot of money, life can get kind of difficult because, we don't have enough money to even wipe our butts with it. You'll run out of it. And if you've ever been sitting on the toilet and run out of paper, it's not a pretty sight, man. You're kind of stranded and hopeless, and you're calling out to others. Will somebody please slip me a piece of paper under the door? Years ago, must be like almost 2 decades. And you know what? Thank you to all my viewers out there that gave me birthday wishes. July 10th was my birthday. It kind of came and went. It was a pivotal day for me. I'm now, I've climbed the mountain of life, and I'm now on the other side looking down into the valley of death. That's what happens when you get over the 50 hump. But, you know what? I'm not complaining. I got a song in my heart, and, glorious things await. There's going to be many awesome things happening in my life personally, and hopefully for the whole world, man. And I'll try and share that at the end of this video. But I have gotten over the hump. I want to thank everybody for all the warm birthday wishes. Anyway, kind of getting back to what we're looking at. The whole global economy is cratering in on itself. The U.S. debt is completely just out of control. The Congress, our president, God bless him, Barack Obama, he's the first black president. He's a Nobel Peace Prize winner. He may be the Antichrist for all I know. He really has done nothing to to help anybody. The economy is a complete disaster, but you know what? God bless him anyway, you know. And God bless Mitt Romney, you know. I don't even really like him, you know, because Mormons kind of give me the willies, and I'm not trying to case on Mormons, you know, because at least you believe in something. But I'm personally, I don't really belong to any religion. You know, I go over to a Baptist church. That's where I was baptized at on July 8th. But I'm not a Baptist. You know, but God bless the Baptists. You know, God bless Mormons. You know, but that's that strange fine line we walk in America, where it's separation of church and state. But what I was getting to, Barack Obama. He's clueless, but our whole government is broken. This election coming up is completely pointless. It doesn't matter who the heck we vote for, and I'm still going with there's not going to be a next election. Like something crazy is going to happen, whether it's World War III or some kind of cataclysmic disaster on a global level. One way or another, we're not even going to get to that election. But the stock market here in the United States, has been taking a dive. Since June, it's dropped 500 points, and it's still, heading south. The jobs report, people filing for unemployment, was at its lowest ever. And people that are clueless or just completely stupid or trying to bamboozle you, like Obama, they'll tell you, oh, that's great news, man. Only 350,000 people applied for unemployment. The number's going down. But don't be fooled, my friends. It's just that benefits have run out for millions and millions and millions of us, and so we can't even file. So, the nation of the unemployed grows every day by hundreds of thousands, and the number of people filing for unemployment doesn't mean a damn thing. Not at all. And 350,000 is still a huge number. But, the whole economy is fake. One of the things that our beloved president, Barack Obama, God bless him, that he'll point to is, he bailed out GM, General Motors, gave them billions of dollars. They still owe $25 billion to the taxpayers of America. And, nowadays they're not General Motors, they're government motors. But Obama will tell you, he'll say, hey, you know what, even though everything sucks, and, food prices are through the roof, and gas is through the roof, and you're not better off than you were 4 years ago, and everything that I promised you, none of it's happened. But you know what, look at GM. I bailed it out, and they had a 16% increase, their biggest increase in years, in their car sales. So that's proof that things are working. Keep on believing the obamacon. But you know what, don't believe it, my friends. If you carefully look at those GM numbers, the reason why their sales went up 16% is because the government increased their purchases of GM cars by 80%. Basically all the government cars for the post office, the CIA, that huge debt that we can never pay off. Well, all that money is being spent on General Motors cars, and that's why they had a 16% increase, is because the government bought cars, not me and you, taxpayers, because we're too broke. We don't have jobs. We're not buying any new cars. Only the elite, the rich people that Obama, even though he tells us he wants to tax the hell out of them, his buddies are all rich people. George Soros, the bankers, everybody in his cabinet, was part of the Fed or some investment firm, Sherman and Lehman's, so that's just part of the con, the class warfare. Both Republicans and Democrats, there's no difference between them. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. That's what's happening, my friends. So anyway, and just to kind of prove it, look at the headlines in the Mercury News today. Right here. It says, city bankruptcies spread fear. That's what's happening in California. We ran out of money. And, our beloved governor, Jerry Brown, God bless him, for some reason we were stupid enough to elect him a second time. But, we've had 4 cities, Mammoth, Lake County, Stockton, Vallejo, San Bernardino, all declaring bankruptcy. And it's spreading. Even in San Jose, we got no money whatsoever. We're broke as a joke, too. And, the government, they canceled the one thing that was actually working, which was the medicinal marijuana sales. It was actually our beloved president, Barack Obama, and his attorney general, Eric Holder, the most corrupt attorney general that we've ever had. That's under investigation, that's been withholding information, like on the Fast and Furious, the gun thing where our own agents got killed. And of course, Obama, one of the promises he made was to be the most transparent, open, and honest government. Ah, what a lie. He's the most crooked, corrupt, deceptive president we've ever had, man. But nobody seems to care, And of course, the liberal media, they don't jack him up on none of that stuff. But God bless him, man. But, California, we're ready to drop off the edge of the map, both financially and probably literally, an earthquake, probably in the near future. But, I don't get visions or anything of that nature. So, it's just we're due, man. But, that kind of takes us to the global situation. The extreme weather is everywhere. There are earthquakes everywhere around the world. The sun's activity is crazy. There's a huge sunspot right now that is primed today to probably blow off a huge CME X-class flare towards the Earth. And, it's affecting us on multiple levels. The whole solar system's being affected. And yet, our government and NASA, they're not going to tell us, all the planets, in the complete solar system are getting... I think they're all warming up. Why is that? Is there another dwarf star approaching us? What's going on? They just had the other day in the news, there's like a storm on one of Saturn's moons, a vortex that just formed that wasn't there before. So there's all sorts of crazy stuff happening that we're not being told. But the sun has been going bonkers. We're still heading towards a solar maximum, more solar activity. And you know what? Just the sun alone will probably blast us back into the Stone Age, shutting down all satellite and destroying the electrical grid. But if the sun doesn't do it, we'll probably do it to ourselves, with some kind of nuclear EMP, as World War III breaks out. Because, of course, globally, the rumors of war and actual war and massacre of people continues at unprecedented levels. Syria, Iran, North Korea, Russia's doing all sorts of war games. The news is not good, my friends. And you know what? This president, God bless him, he does not have a handle on it. He's clueless, he's naive, or he's just allowing it all to happen. Doesn't matter how you want to look at it. But, globally, man, the weather is just, insane. In America, we've got a drought all across the Midwest. Our corn crop is being devastated. And then all across the South, we got flooding like never before. And that's destroying all the crops, too. But across the world it's happening. In Africa there's flooding. In Russia there's flooding. In England there is flooding. They're already saying that the Olympics are going to be all messed up due to winter in summer. Across the whole Asian continent, Asia, Japan, China, they're all being flooded with flooding, unprecedented flooding. So what that's all going to add up to is unprecedented famine. The world's already starving. It's unbelievable. If you actually look up the numbers, famine is off the charts. Why? Because we got more people in the world than ever. There's 7 billion people. So there are millions and millions and millions of people starving, and even more millions and millions and millions of people on the verge of starving that are clinging to existence, just barely getting enough to eat every day. But it's going to get worse, my friends. And I just went shopping the other day, and all the food prices are going up. Chicken, corn, everything. But you know what? If you want to believe our beloved president, everything's okay. Everything's getting better. And if you're in that cocoon, in that bubble of existence, and your little life is going okay, hey, God bless you. But for the rest of us, it's getting darn hard. All right, couple of little things. There's a video that's out there on the internet called Pet Goat 2, I Pet Goat 2. Made by a company, Heliofount. Nobody knows exactly who or what or why these people are. But this video, I Pet Goat 2, that was the book George Bush was reading, I Pet Goat 1, on 9/11, the day that America got attacked. But now we got this video out by this company that seems to be kind of dubious. But the video is completely apocalyptic and Illuminati, Freemason, ruled by secrecy. It has every kind of prophecy, foreboding, evil shadowing you can possibly imagine. If you watch it, man, everything from the goat at the beginning where his eyes are swirling to the American flag getting ripped in half. And then they got this sick-looking Jesus dude floating along in a canoe, which is the god of death, Canubis from Egypt. And all of it is a big lie. It's all being put out there by sinister forces that want you to believe this is what's happening. Well, my friends, I'll tell you, don't believe that stuff, man. If you've got God in your heart, if you believe in Jesus Christ as your Savior, you know what? There's a whole nother plan that's unfolding that has nothing to do with that video that you see. That's what the dark side wants you to think that's happening, that destruction is coming, death, famine, and all that stuff is out there. But you know what? If you're on the right side, you got nothing to fear, because God will take care of us all. That's the good news. But anyway, in the Pet Goat 2, all sorts of people are breaking it down, saying, hey, here's what it means, and I got a few of those linked in, and you should check them out. They're real interesting. But at the very end of the video, as Jesus in his canoe is heading towards the setting sun, you see a meteor come flying in, and it hits the Great Pyramid of Giza and just completely destroys it. So, you know, is something coming? Maybe. But just the other day in the news, you know, it's on Al Jazeera's website, and I think it's even on like Fox News and some other websites. But you know, the new president of Egypt, Mohammed Morsi, who says he doesn't belong to the Muslim Brotherhood, but don't believe it. You know, he does. But they're already talking. You know, the Muslims over there, the extremists, which they're the ones that are dominating and controlling the whole Muslim movement. Even though people constantly say, hey, there's the average medium or peace-loving Muslims that don't want to hurt a fly. Well, you know what? I don't believe that, because they're being driven by the extremists, and they want to get rid of anybody that isn't a Muslim. But you know what? Muslims have always destroyed other cultures' historic and ancient buildings and statues around the world, you know, because they have no reverence or respect for anybody else. They don't. But already they're putting pressure on Morsi to actually destroy the Great Pyramid of Giza. And it's not that crazy, because they already tried it. The Muslim world, you know, if you go back several hundred years, they were the ones that stripped the Great Pyramid of the pyramid used to have polished limestone to where it shone brilliantly. You know, when the sun hit it, you could probably see it for hundreds of miles around. It was probably shining, you know, gold or white or whatever. You know, it was a beacon of light. But they already tried destroying it, and they couldn't quite get the mission done. But now that Morsi's in control, they're talking about finishing the job. So it's a kind of coincidence that this video, I Pet Goat 2, ends with the Great Pyramid getting destroyed, and there's a news story about, you know, the new Egyptian president being pressured to destroy the pyramid. And I'll tell you, it's a sign of something, the end of the age, you know. So open up your eyes to what's going on. Few other little notes. A guy by the name of Sherriff Arpaio, you know, he's out there, I think, in either New Mexico or Arizona. But, you know, our beloved president has been attacking him for years. Rumor has it he's doing a press conference on July 17th where he's going to expose Obama for the phony he is. And, you know, Obama is as phony as a $3 bill, you know, from his birth certificate to his college records to whatever. It's all a big mystery, man. You know, and Obama is just steeped in the occult from his inauguration address, which he did in Denver with the throne of Zeus behind him. You know what? All crazy stuff, man. That's why people kind of think he's the Antichrist. Whether he is or isn't, we'll see. But anyway, Sheriff Joe Arpaio is saying he's going to expose Obama. And, you know, the 17th is just 5 days away, so we'll see. And, of course, we got the big dates of July 27th or 28th. You know, a lot of stuff seems to be happening right on those 2 days. You know, the Olympic Games are opening up, and they're steeped in the occult and the Illuminati and, you know, the symbology and, you know, just the whole paganness of the Olympics, you know, worshiping the body. And, you know, the Olympic medals have, you know, the Roman god on there. You know, there's nothing really Christian or godly about the Olympics. But the Olympics are opening up. Prince William's going to be the officiating official. You know, people are saying that's kind of him coming out, you know. Could be a good or a bad thing. But Saturn comes out of Virgo for the second time, because Saturn's been in retrograde. So the first time Saturn came out of Virgo was back on 11/11/11. And of course we had all sorts of people around the world, the New Agers. You know, a lot of the Indian cultures were carrying the skulls across America, and everybody was praying for some kind of portal to open up and spirits to come in. Well, you know what? That same scenario is probably going down on the 27th and 28th. You know, and of course, science-wise, you know, we got a probe landing on Mars, and we got the science saying that they're on the verge of discovering the God particle, which is another kind of lie. But that's all part of, you know, opening up this portal and letting something manifest itself on our plane of existence. And it's not something good, my friends, because all these sinister forces, all these negative energies are all pulling together to manifest something evil. And they're going to portray it as good. They are, you know. Like even the God particle, they say, oh, once we discover the God particle, then there'll be no God, because then we figured it out that God is just this little particle and we can control God. We are gods, you know. But that's all a big lie, because God is way bigger than a particle, my friends. And of course, you know, Fukushima continues, and you know, the ultimate disaster of the ages, you know, continues, and that in and of itself is, you know, mind-blowing. So anyway, that is the tribulation as it stands today. We've shifted into high gear. You know, the meltdown, Fukushima, the global economy, the food supply, the one world government, you know, all of it is now in process, just melting down, and something is going to come forth from it, be born from it. And if you watch the I Pet Goat 2 video, you'll see things being born. You know, the TV which has Satan in it, all of a sudden the one kid's head cracks open and something kind of slithers out of there. So, you know what? None of it's good, my friends. But what I'm going to tell you is that there's a positive side to this whole thing. And in order to understand the positive side of it, you got to open your eyes and your ears. You got to get a relationship going with God, and He'll start cluing you in to, you know, what He's doing. But it's like I've been telling everybody for the longest time, you know, there's going to be a path, two paths. The path, the straight and narrow, the light, Jesus, or the path on the left, the path to destruction, the wide path, which everyone's going to be marching down because they think that's the way to go. It's the easy path, where everybody's partying their ass off. Everybody has these false dreams of being rich and being a king and being at the top of the pyramid. But you know what? Don't be fooled, my friends. Don't go to the left side. Go to the right side. You know, the straight and narrow. Find out what's important in your heart. Let all the worldly things go. All materialism. Gold, 401ks, your house, your car. And I'm not saying you have to go out and spend or, you know, sell your house and your car today, and you don't have to necessarily sell your stocks, but I'm saying mentally, spiritually, let go of it. Make it to where it's not important at all. So if it disappears tomorrow, you're not sitting there getting all depressed about it, you know, because what's really important is just being alive, you know, living in the day that we're in and helping out your fellow man. You know, the guy that's got the sign that says, I'm hungry and I haven't eaten in days, you know, give him $1 or $2, or give him a sandwich, feed him. You know, if you're doing well and you got a company and you can hire somebody, well then hire somebody. You know, but do something positive, you know, step outside of your bubble. But figure out where your heart is, you know, and, you know, make it spiritual. Make it to where you love God and you love your fellow human being more than you love anything else, you know. Stop watching so much TV. You know, all those shows, you know, Pickers, you know, God, there's just so many of them now, you know, the Pawn Shop, Pawn Stars, Cajun Pawn Stars, but it's all about material stuff, you know, putting extreme values on old-ass crap that doesn't or shouldn't have any value at all. And even new stuff, you know, stop dreaming about buying that new car. You don't need it. Start thinking about where you're going to be, you know, 1,000 years from now, you know. Because I'm telling you, my friends, if you're standing with God, Jesus is the truth, the way, and the life, as in eternal life. And you know what? It's priceless, my friends. You can't put a price on that. You know, it's worth more than any house or car you could possibly own. So think about it. Open your eyes to the truth. All right. God bless everybody out there. Stay thirsty, my friends. The tribulation continues. We're in the month of Cancer. Mercury is still in retrograde. Crazy things are coming. Crazy things are happening. But God has a plan for us all. All right. Catch y'all later.